There is no scientific evidence, at least not established evidence, why autism is on a race today.
When we do practices, lot of parents come up with the complaints that my child never likes to go on the different route.
So autism means you are one way addicted also to one pattern of life.
No,
Obsession.
you can't say that.
So a lot of parents might not even know that their kids have autism.
No, they will not know.
Hi, welcome to Casey Talks. Autism is a going problem these days. We find numerous kids having this problem, and scientific world has not come with any data why there is a rise of autism, especially in India, which wasn't heard of few decades back, at least a decade back also. Let us understand autism from a rehabilitation psychologist named Rashmi. Namaste, Rashmi.
Namaste.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What about you?
गुड गुड
Yeah.
सो ये ऑटिज्म के ऊपर आपने कुछ रिसर्च किया, आप काफ़ी कॉन्फ्रेंसेस और वर्कशॉप्स अटेंड किए हैं. You have attended a lot of workshops on
Yes.
this. So as you have told us before also, before this podcast, there is no scientific evidence, at least not established evidence, why autism is on a race today. But let us understand for normal people what autism is, first of all.
So autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder. So in children you can see. So normally what happens when the child is growing, there is like from birth to birth milestone starts, right? So we have different milestones of development. So if when the child starts crawling, rolling, then like walk, small taking steps, walking, running. Likewise, we have a speech, then find grip, motor movements, everything. So what happens with if the child is having autism, or if the child starts developing autism? So first thing that parents need to understand is the child will not respond to your voice. When you call child with their name, the child will not respond. How many times you call them, ask them anything, the child will not respond you. They will not give the attention.
So that's the first symptom that you need to understand.
Yes. So then another thing is social smile. So basically what happens, the child will give the smile to you if you look at the child. But child with autism will not do the eye contact, and they will not give smile also. And if the child is like more grown, like 4 year, 5 year, they will have the speech issue. They will not talk like other children, or they will not respond, or they will have problem in speech. So these are the some of the basic thing to understand. And apart from that, if we deep dive into this, so then gradually we'll understand there are multiple symptoms and signs that can be very visible. Like child will have particular pattern. So what child will do? So first of all, having a daily ritual. एक ही प्लेट में खाना है. I want to eat in the same plate. Okay, I want to wear the same t-shirt, same color. If the child is going to school, they don't like to go to the like changing the routes. They want same route. If the route changes, they get very anxious, panic, restless. They throw the tantrum, excessive crying.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and as well as they will be very restless, and they will take the time to respond in certain things. They're like not like us, the way we quickly, rapidly we respond, right? If someone is asking something to us, but for the child with autism, it takes time. They will answer you, but they will take time. Sometimes they won't answer you. They will repeat what you said. So these are the like simple and some of the things to understand what is exactly autism, how actually autism look like. If you see superficially some of the things to understand, but there are like stages, there are different signs and symptoms. I also autism can be like we can help the children with autism. by behavior therapy, by speech therapy, by occupational therapy, because the child with autism will have the sensory issues also.
But one second, Rashmi. So
Hmm.
this is a very unique point that you told.
Hmm.
Not only that they are not responding to your no reactions to your actions.
Hmm.
So they are not responding to your smile.
Yeah.
They're not responding. But you said a very new point that they don't like change also.
Yeah.
They want only one car. They are accustomed to one
Yes.
pattern.
Yes.
They want the same route.
Yes.
They want, maybe they will get anxious when the teacher also changes.
Hmm.
But yes, these all are autism we never heard of.
Yeah, it is there. So basically when we are in the when we do practices, lot of parents come up with the complaints that my child never likes to go on the different route. If we take a different route, child gets very irritated, annoyed, starts crying, and the whole day gets very disturbed because of only one thing. And that is how it runs. If you have seen a web series called The Good Doctor,
I haven't seen that.
no?
Hmm.
So the Good Doctor is the one of the series on Netflix. It is available. So it shows there is a one incident in that particular web series where this the guy who is a doctor, and he eats every day one apple.
Hmm.
So that day what happened? His friend enter in his room and she eats his apple.
Hmm.
So he gets so like restless that she ate my apple and now I have to eat apple. So he had to go to hospital, but before that he goes to the market, supermarket. He enters in the supermarket, and what happened when he was taking the apple, there robbery happens. So there two thieves comes and they alert them that if anybody moves from here, we will be shooting. But what happened? This guy is so stick with that the thing, the apple I want to eat. I should have the apple because it is in his ritual. It is in his routine that he's like keep on following from long time. So he doesn't understand that thing that there might be a threat if he move or if he does anything. So what he does, he normally moves. He takes the apple and thief thinks that he is trying to
Do
like
something.
defend or protect himself, and they shoot the girl. But this what happened, he moves and the girl gets like shot by the thief. So now you understand in that web series it has shown very beautifully to understand that how it is challenging and difficult also for the person with autism to come out of that particular ritual or come out a particular habit which they have
So
been
autism means
continuously.
you are one way addicted also to one pattern of life.
No, you
Obsession.
can't say that. Yeah,
Obsession.
it is there is obsession, but we can break it slowly.
But obsession can also be one of the symptom of autism. That's
Yes,
what you are telling.
yes, yes.
Well,
Particular means it's very natural. So in a way, like toddlers, you can see when the fan is running, they like to see the things which are running, like moving continuously. They will notice the running car wheels, then fans, or that small what we say toys which are continuously having some movements. They like that. Also they will have particular stereotypical motor movements, like they will do their hands like this. They will enjoy from the finger looking at something. So it's very naturally they do this, and these are the some of the symptoms which are very visible. Or they will have some self harm tendencies like biting continuous. It's not self harm we say, but it is a self stimulation. That's one of the symptom.
So in this scenario, Rashmi, so a lot of parents might not even know that their kids have autism, isn't it?
No, they will not know.
Until and unless they bring to a psychologist or a rehab psychologist like you,
Yes.
then until and unless you people tell them that your child has autism, they will not understand it.
Yes.
Very tough to believe also, no?
It is. So what happened, I will tell you, in our Indian culture at least. In our Indian culture, we are very rigid, I will say. Because parents are like, अभी बात नहीं कर रहा है ना, सो ही विल टॉक. उसका पापा भी बात नहीं करता था बचपन में, उसको भी टाइम लगा बात करने को.
Okay.
सो ये भी धीरे धीरे बात करेगा. सो यूजुअली इन what we say,
This is what they say.
this is what they say. So now child is not talking, he will start talking after he will take some time, because his father also took time when he was like toddler and young. So they will not understand, or there is no awareness regarding this, that they should go to the neurodevelopmental pediatrician or neurodevelopmental psychologist or rehab psychologist to do some screening assessment to understand. I would suggest every parent that they should do this developmental test, neurodevelopmental test. They should check how their child is growing. Are the developmental milestones are going properly or not? How the child is growing, like his motor development, his speech, his cognitive development, social development. These are some of the factors which are very important.
Okay.
But people doesn't give that much importance. And nowadays what is happening, we are getting into the very techno world, right? Though, so in this techno era, actually what we are facing, we are becoming we are actually shrinking by social factor, environmental factor, and by cognitive also, we can say, because we are using lot of gadgets where we do not have that much exposure to cognitive exercises. If you remember, in our childhood, we had lot of exposure to do lot of things. We used to play stone. We used to do lot of things, roaming in the house, having this what we say, broom, and cleaning, sweeping, or playing with mother. We used to do lot of things. But nowadays, what is the pattern? The child which like around 1.5 year or 2 year, they are having only phones in their hand, tablets, tabs and phone they are using, right? So here itself we are limiting that child to grow cognitively, and social development is not happening because of that only. Because the child is not getting that much exposure to talk with to spend more time with parents, to spend more time with neighbor. Previously what used to happen, if I am busy as a mother, what I used to do, to give my child to my neighbor.
Yeah.
Right? That was like very common practices. But now, due to safety issues and other things also, it has become very what we say, constricted, where we are only if the child, due to that fear, we can say, we will not give our child to anyone. So we will choose the better option of giving the tab to the child, gadget, right? So here itself, that is limiting the child's development, I would say.
Oh, it's a very new point.
Yeah.
So when child lacks that socio interactive skills,
Yes.
So then the nourishment doesn't happen. So in our good olden days, we used to go to some neighbor's house. We used to play with their kids. We used to eat in their house. So there is a lot of
things, sharing skill, which are not happening, right? And nowadays I am seeing almost so I worked with corporate also. So I saw my most of the employees are having like caretaker at their home, who take care of the child. Nannies. And nannies actually don't know what to talk with the child.
Oh, okay.
So I noticed, I went to one of my friend's place, and child was crying like anything. And then I said, why the child is crying? What is exactly happening? So then I noticed her, because the whole day I was there home. So I noticed nanny is not talking a single word with the child.
So what nanny's work is only to feed Cerelac.
Feed the child, or if the child is moving here and there, lift him, watch him, again bring back to the place, again child is moving, bring back to the place. But I told my friend.
Is there a professional qualification to become a nanny?
Yeah, there is a Montessori training.
But
abroad, in foreign countries, it's mandatory. If you are becoming nanny, you have to take you have to get proper diploma or certification in that course. So it's not only feeding the child or just keeping watch on the child, but at the same time, you have to, if you are a nanny, you need to have that certain skills, that how to prompt the child,
Hmm.
how to shape the behavior of the child. This is very important. Imitating skills that you should teach the child, because that's a very golden age or golden time, I will say, that child is spending with nanny,
Hmm.
because parents are not there, and nanny is playing very important role in that child's life at that moment, like 3, 4, 5 years.
So, what do you say, Rashmi? In our good olden days, these nannies roles were played by our real nannies and
Grandparents.
nanas, dadis and dadis, right?
Yes, yes.
So, were they doing a better job than the nannies?
Yes. I would say one of, and now also one of my employee. So her parents are playing very important role.
Hmm.
So her brother's daughter. So she always shows me videos, see how she is doing well, how she has learned so many things. So I asked who's teaching her this all things. I wonder, because nowadays it's very difficult to find the children having this much clear speech. She is something now 19 month, and she says ABCD. She sings song. This is
Hmm.
amazing, right? I So these are the verbal skill speech that she has a good fluency. So I asked her who is doing this. So
Hmm.
she said my parents.
So,
So
grandparents were playing a very vital role in the
very
upbringing of the
vital
children,
role. Yes,
which is lacking in today's nuclear
it is.
families. Very nice. So, back to autism. So, you have told many examples of what autism is,
Hmm.
and then you also told us how rigid Indian parents are to accept that it is autism,
Yeah.
and then it is a genetical factor. His father was also like that.
Hmm.
So, okay. So, how frequently you get a patient, and where it is very tough for you to convince their parents that your child is a special child?
See, acceptance does not come easily.
Hmm.
It takes time.
Hmm.
Okay, and in foreign countries, if you see, people are more open minded, and they really want to work on their child. If there is something they are seeing which is not normal, okay, so they go on their own and they work on it. But in India or in our society community, what we see, parent takes longer time. The early intervention, what we say, early intervention means before 6 years old child. So what happens, most of the parents bring their child after 6. Till 6 they will be waiting ki no, there it will work. So there, what we see, when they come, first of all they shop everywhere, they go to every doctor, they do all scanning, MRIs, X-rays, ultrasound, everything, whatever is possible, what are the treatments are possible. Not only this, doctor shopping, but they do all faith healers and everything they will try, worshipping and all. And after that, when they fail, when they see nothing is working now, so mostly some with someone's reference, or somebody's telling no, there's an institute, or there's a neuro rehab psychologist who can help you with this, or there is a behavior therapist who can help you, then they will come. After coming also, they don't have acceptance, because it is something like a stigma. If my child has something, mother will have another problem, that okay, is it because of me, and father will be thinking, is it because of me. There will be some of the time what happened, so father thinks there is nothing to do with me, it's her fault, because she carried a 9 months child in her
Hmm.
belly,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that acceptance, to break that stigma and then working on this, it takes time, it's a process.
Then looks like that it is actually a little, logical. It has to be logical. It has to be very rational.
It
So, how
has
do
to
you
be.
find it with educated class only? If you are finding it so difficult,
No, if you tell me, if you ask me this, I would say there are some of the well educated people, those who don't accept. I had one client where it was a clear, the child had moderate. autism we could see. And I told them that child needs behavior therapy. There are lacking of social skills. There are some of things which we are seeing very clearly. So they took one session, and then after that they said we will send our child to his grandmother's place. So there he will develop.
Okay, so my question is, if in educated people only they are unable to accept with rational approach, what about the so-called little less educated people or from a
Less
rural background?
educated people, I feel they are more aware about it. I feel that.
You feel like that?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I worked in, means I was a student in National Institute, Central Institute of India, right? So there we found most of the population who comes from the rural background
Hmm.
to take the treatment, and they are more concerned that because what will happen to their child, and they take that much efforts like traveling from 300 kilometer, 500 kilometer. They come, they monthly basis they will come
Hmm.
to check their child how they are doing, and what can be done by their side. But when it comes to the most educated people, I see that they come up with lot of Google's research,
Hmm.
like Google, a lot of googling happened already, and after that they go into the denial mode, that they think that we can do everything. When I say
So
we are going,
uneducated people and simple people from rural areas have more acceptance
yeah,
than.
and I feel the more people from the rural areas, they trust the therapists, doctors, behavioral psychologists. They trust more, and they accept, and they um, cooperate more, accommodate things.
Okay, I have another question.
Hmm.
This autism is more in urban crowd or it is
Urban.
huh?
Urban.
It is more in urban crowd.
Yes.
Is it because we diagnose that or it is undiagnosed in the rural areas?
In rural areas, yeah, we are not easily, they don't have access
Hmm.
to the healthcare services, what we see.
But are you sure you are telling that in the rural areas autism is less even till today in India?
Yeah, this is what we see. Most of the time we see people are coming from the urban areas only.
Hmm.
I feel that because of lot of exposure to the technology, and increasing stress in mothers during pregnancy, and working mothers using lot of gadgets and laptops during pregnancy, and junk food
Hmm.
and stress. If the stress level is high, obviously it is going to affect the mother.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of things, but what compared to rural, what we see in urban area is more highly
More high.
affected by this.
Very nice. You have really told us some of the very good classical examples of the upbringing of the child. So now that okay, so with very great difficulty you have accepted. You made parents accept that they have a special child now. Now, what is the minimum duration of time under your therapies, cognitive behavioral therapies, or what all therapies you give? Can autism be reversed, and how long does it take?
You can't say it can be totally recovered or reverse, but there are some of the fact that we can work on it. Like if the child is having sensory issues, so we can give the child occupational therapy. If the child is continuously having speech issues, we have a speech therapy. So basically, if the child is having multiple issues, what we do, we work holistically with the child. So if you have visited any CDC, Child Development Center, you will see they are having a different departments, like speech therapy is there, then occupational therapy is there, then psychological department is there, the assessment, screening, and behavioral intervention that we give. So it's depend upon the child, that what is the severity level of the child. And like you can see the children, if the children is having like lot of issues, along with if there is any comorbid condition, if the child is having ID, if the child is having another thing, so we then it takes time.
What is the
Definitely it
minimum
takes.
and maximum duration for a recovery in autism? You can get recovered in a year also if everything is okay.
Yes, if we are taking regularly therapy, you can bring the changes. I will not say recovery. I will again rectify this word. It's we can make some progress in the child's behavior.
Significant difference at least.
Yes.
and you
There
can
are people who had a autism and now they are really doing great.
matlab it doesn't affect them anymore.
It affects, but that still they are doing now. For example, just now you see this The Good Doctor. It's a series. It's not real, but still the person with autism can do better surgery also.
So
And
they can
person with
function like a normal
yes,
person.
yes, they are now. We had one of the client who had autism, moderate autism, and he's a good swimmer. He's a good driver.
Hmm.
He is having good life. He is
Can an
having wife.
autistic kid become a psychologist also?
We can't say autistic kid. That is, it's like a ableism, but we can say the person with autism.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so a person with autism,
Hmm.
can he grow up to become a psychologist?
Yes,
It's possible.
it is possible, but it's depend upon again what is the level.
Okay,
Huh.
he can become a doctor also. He can be like any another
Yes,
person
yes,
getting
yes.
into any field.
Yes.
There are no limitations for
Yeah.
a person
Yeah.
with autism.
And I would say we all are actually, if you think about anything, we all are having thoda thoda sab kuch. We all are like हमको थोड़ा ADHD भी है, थोड़ा autism भी है,
Hmm.
थोड़ा SLD भी होता है.
Hmm.
It's not something like we don't have. But only the thing is, the special child will have the in more severity and intensity might be more, and dealing with
Actually,
that
what I feel
becomes
after talking
difficult.
to you, Rashmi, is there has to be a lot of campaigning done
Yes.
on autism. Because what happened 10 years back, I went to Bangalore.
Hmm.
So, matlab I came out of the airport and there was a big, huge ad
Hmm.
on the hoarding with Deepika Padukone
Hmm.
speaking on the mental health.
Hmm.
So there was something written, I am low, but I am okay to be
Hmm.
low. It is okay to approach a.
Huh.
So, post which I've seen a movie called that Dear Zindagi,
Okay.
where due to which people have got some awareness on the mental health.
Mhm.
Because it was a very taboo in India
Mhm.
that if you are feeling weird also, you can't just
Mhm.
not go to anybody, open up.
Mhm.
Seeing therapist is considered some very, you
No,
know.
but we need to break this stigma.
So like that, what I mean to say is so much of advertising was done at some given point of time on understanding the mental health issues and acceptance that yes, I have little mood swings. I might have a bipolar. Let me go to a therapist. Let me get myself, checked.
But she is an actress. That's why she had a courage to come forward and
Like that,
talk
what
about
I mean
it.
to say is maybe by talking to you, I understand that autism is a complicated thing. It is not that every parent understands.
Yeah.
So there has to be an awareness that has to be
Yeah.
created about
And
autism.
also, parent has to have that patience.
Hmm.
And they have to cooperate in such a way. It's not only a psychologist, behavior therapist work.
Hmm.
There is something that you need to do at home. They will tell you some of the things that you have to incorporate at home. How your behavior, if your husband wife are not doing well, if you are having issues, you are having conflict regarding child, so definitely the child will get more affected by it.
Very nice. So that means an awareness of autism has to be created, and it's a national policy. Yes. The policy makers of India should also acknowledge
and
that it is.
doesn't come only with this, but it the moment couples get married, from there itself I feel there is a need of making, like when the lady is getting pregnant, from there itself they should give the more, what we say, prenatal counseling, which is very important.
Very nice.
So how to avoid stress, what can be done, how to when we are getting panic or anxious,
What
how
we'll do,
to
Rashmi,
relax.
is this entire conceiving counselings, and when all that factors, we'll do a different podcast. It's a very useful podcast to India, because we hear it from our scriptures, many things, but people, today's modern generation, feel it is all not very necessary.
No, I will give you one example. No, it's a very universal example, that's why. So what used to happen when in a like previous days, years, whenever the this female is getting pregnant, she has to go to her mother's place. Why?
To have a stress-free environment.
Exactly. But nowadays it is not like that.
Yeah.
females are working. They are till 7 month they are working, and then after 7 month they
You're the
go
first
back.
rehabilitation psychologist whom I met in this gamut who told about the well-being of a pregnant mother.
That's very important.
No, it is. But many people think it is all chalta hai.
No.
Why? Because in our scriptures we hear about a story of Bhakta Prahlada. So mother was left in Narada's ashrama. Kayadu is a mother of Prahlada. So Hiranyakashipu has gone somewhere. So he leaves his wife, a pregnant wife, in the Narad Muni's ashram. And she grows in a very serene ashram environment. And always listening to bhajans and kirtans. And Narad Muni was also narrating Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita to that lady. So the child is born with a special attraction to Hari, Narayana, Krishna. He is a born Bhakta. So we hear this story, and when we tell to the people from a spiritual angle that once a woman is pregnant, give her all good food. And our mothers in the olden, at least 2-3 decades back, they had different diet for a lady who is pregnant.
Yes.
So today we have become so artificial that they are watching horror movies, they are watching WWE,
and they in the name of craving having junk food,
and they get mood swings because they are pregnant, and they start eating
caffeine drinks.
So a lot of chocolate, maybe I don't know. So when we say about these olden things, they say that this person is any spiritually affiliated person. Ye sab chalta hai, the world is. But as a psychologist, when you are telling, I feel this is a very important topic which we should do. Our next podcast should be on this.
Sure.
But it is great that modern psychology is also recognizing all of these parameters, holistic well-being of a mother. Because you are telling that the autism can be a reason why, because of the stress factors the mother is going through, the junk food she's eating, and if she's alcoholic, if she's smoking, and she's going to pubbing and all this. It plays
premature birth also one of the reasons.
Very important point.
So many factors are there that need to be considered as a pregnant woman, and it's not only a mother's responsibility, but when it comes to when female is pregnant, it's a whole responsibility of family.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So let us hope that the awareness of autism increases. Last question. Out of 10 people in India today, how many people are born with autistic disorders? A rough stats.
So out of 10, we can say one person is born with.
Less. It is only 10% as of today.
As we can say that, I will not strongly stand on this, but we can say that.
So that means autism is it is raised in India.
It is raising. Sure.
Thank you so much for your understanding on autism. So let us do more podcasts on various issues.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste.